how I felt about Halo heading into the World Championship. The game itself, I feel like it hasn't been handled too good this year. I feel like 343 have been a bit slow at that. They've not really listened to a lot of the players' sort of requests.
When it comes to the prize money, they said that they took off the crowdfunding. Crowdfunding was supposed to be a huge part in the prize pool of the World Championship. If you take a look at Halo 5 on 2016, it was supposed to be 1 million, but with the crowdfunding of like gold packs in the store, they added like $1.5 million more.
It's something that should have been communicated months and months before the event.
Welcome everyone to the Halo World Championship play-in day. It's Golden Boy and Walsh here as we get ready to call the action for this big matchup, the matchup that truthfully we have all been looking forward to. Acend, the European juggernauts, finding themselves in a play-in tournament to make their way into the World Championship. What a time to be alive, and it's an exciting match, Dave.
It was a bit of a strange one. I think obviously Complexity were a very good team, and we knew it wasn't going to be an easy series, but I feel like we were pretty rusty in that series. We through game 2, I think they beat us pretty convincingly game 4, but we expected to sort of, I wouldn't say dominate that series, but we expected for it to be maybe a 3-0.
We got a big game that's going to be going on here, friends. Series tied 2-2. Complexity versus Acend. Aquarius Slayer, 50 kills, decides it all. Who moves on to pools C or D in the World Championship?
For us, it was mandatory to go back in pools. So it was just a day in the office. I would say that it was harder than I thought it would be. It was a really close series. We should have closed it out earlier, especially the Slayer Lifer that we lose. We are not very proud of what we were showing in the plane. The main objective was to qualify ourselves, which we did. So we are not very happy, but at the same time, we're just focused, thinking of tomorrow and playing the groups.
A huge trade for Sica. Only 1 kill left remaining here as Vetra's going to climb around the corner, and Acend are going to qualify for Halo World Championship pool play tomorrow. But Dave, I thought that history was going to repeat itself.
Yeah, obviously Sentinels have, they're one of the best teams in Halo. I think it was a very close series. I think it was 1-1, and then game 3 was bizarre flag, and it literally came down to one mistake that I think we made. And
it just gives us confidence, thinking that we are definitely capable of taking down United and also taking down Navi. So it's just a big boost of confidence as well.
Going into United, we were, as I said, really confident. Came out pretty slow, went down 2-0.
How did you feel at that point, and did you feel like you could make the comeback?
We could do the comeback because for me, Mike and Lqgend, it's not the first time we are down 2-0 and try to make a reverse sweep. Back then at Kansas City we played KCP, we were down 2-0 and we were close from making the reverse sweep, losing 50-46 the last game. It was heartbreaking, but it teaches us something, is that a reverse sweep is always possible. Like, you have to think that even though you're down 2-0 in the series and your back is against the wall, the team that you're playing also wants to finish you off as soon as possible. So if they see it's closer than, if they see that you're taking game and it's getting closer and closer and they're close from reverse sweep, they can feel the pressure as well. So we knew that if we can bring it back to 2-2, we would have the momentum and probably take game 5 as well.
Was there a specific moment where you thought, yeah, we can do that?
I feel like it was the game on Lifer because it was extremely close. I remember we literally lost around 100 to 99 or something. It was insanely close. We won 2-1. The game was never ending. And when you win such a long game after such a long battle, it just gives you confidence because you know that they are very disappointed after losing such a game. So yeah, I felt like the turning point was this one. And even the game after was crazy. I remember the CF Aquarius, it was insanely close. So when you're capable of winning 2 very, very close games like that, you're thinking that the enemy team is literally broken mentally.
Oh my God!
We really thought that we were going to make it because even when we started the game 5, we could feel that we broke their momentum. We could feel that they were not as confident as they were before when they were up 2-0. So yeah.
All the drama that happened, that was bit upsetting. Didn't get the chance to play game 5, and it's pretty gut-wrenching when you go out there for a month early to boot camp, do all this preparation just for it to feel like in a way it got robbed.
For all of us, including myself, it was very confusing. Basically, Lqgend PCs was having freezings and everything, but he thought that he would be able to play like that, but he was not having sounds as well. We asked several times to stop the game. The admin said keep playing, but basically none of us wanted to keep playing like that, so we stopped playing. At least I stopped playing the whole game. Some of us sometimes were like afraid and didn't know what to do, so they played like for 10 seconds, then stopped playing again. So it was very confusing for everyone. We really thought that the admins would stop the game, and also because we were counting on like competitive integrity. Because as a reminder, it was 7-7 on Sir Catalyst, but none of us had like map control, like neither of them or us. On the other hand, like they didn't have overshield, skewer or anything that could like give them an advantage over us. Nobody was close to dying as well, so we really thought that a replay would not hurt anyone in this condition, in this situation.
I think a lot of people were giving eUnited slack for playing on, but at the end of the day, I think the referee was telling them to play on. A lot of other players in that position, if you see someone standing still on the other team, I personally would just stop playing. I don't see the sort of sportsmanship in doing that. But like I said, everyone's different, so it's a bit of a shame that I think I'm not going to say who on that team, but someone on that team said to me that the referees didn't even offer them a replay. So it was a bit of a punch in the stomach for that person to sort of then lie about that. And I do believe the referee did say that they had the option for a replay, but like I said, everyone's different. Everyone handles situations differently. No hate towards the United guys.
I'm not really mad against anyone anymore. I'm just disappointed. Not only about the admins. I'm mainly disappointed about like United, because I feel like it's a lack of fair play and competitive integrity. I feel like if I was playing against a team and they were having problem in such a big event, I would respect it, especially because they had no advantage. I mean, as long as there's money on the line, some people won't care about what they do. It just proved to me that if something happened like that in the future and I'm playing those players again, I won't hesitate. I literally won't hesitate, because if people want to play the rules, then I will play the rules as well.
Straight after the series, you had probably about a 20-minute break before you had to play Navi, and you managed to sweep them 3-0. How did you recover after the whole incident?
Yeah, it was a bit of a strange one. I don't think any of us, I have ever been in that sort of situation where it's almost like you've been robbed a series that you should have won. Where if we had beat United and we went into the Navi series, that would have we would have been going into the Navi series knowing if we beat Navi, we get number 2 in the pool and we go into the winners bracket, and it would, it's a completely different tournament. So, but to then be faced with the sort of the situation where if we now lose to Navi, we out the tournament.
For me, there was not a 1 in a million chance of it happening, so I was just so mad. I remember that was the only emotion I had. I was mad. I think everyone can see that if they watch the rebroadcast against Navi. So I feel like we're all full of anger, just wanting to qualify into the loser bracket and try to do everything to get a revenge against United. So it wasn't that hard to recover. We are just all focused.
It was I think we knew deep down that we, after the Sentinel series and the Unite series, that we were going to beat Navi. Obviously, I wouldn't say I was worried, but I was thinking maybe the boys would be a bit sort of down about the Unite series, and sort of that would play a factor in everyone sort of maybe not performing as well as we should against Navi. But it was quite the opposite. I think the boys used that as sort of fuel going into that series, and we ended up 3-0 in Navi. And yeah, it was obviously the result that we expected, but yeah.
We didn't celebrate or anything. I didn't even handshake my teammate and everything. If I remember, like, I was just so mad. I was just so fucking mad. I couldn't forget, and I kept thinking about like the whole situation with United the whole night. If we had lost like the game 5, let's say we lost the game 5 in a regular way, fair play to them, like, then I would have been saddened and everything. Maybe it would have been harder to recover, but in such a scenario, there was no other way for us than to win like that against Navi. We had to do it. We had to keep going. We couldn't like get out of words because of such an injustice. So we thought that we were just full of anger. Basically, if we won the game 5 against United, we would have been top 2 in pools, which means we would have played FaZe in like the quarterfinal. FaZe is obviously an amazing team. So upset are possible, but obviously we are not the favorites. So I don't know. I feel like we might have a chance, but at the same time, we are like the best team at the time.
I think we were the most confident we had been on that team. I mean, Valencia, we weren't really happy with how close a lot of the series were. So, you know, we had, like I said, we had a good month in Kansas City to practice, and I feel like we were the most practiced we'd ever been. Our whole mentality would have been different in the whole tournament, and as much as I don't like to say, I think it was a bit of a pushback. Next game that we play, it was losers bracket. If we lose that, we're out. Whereas if we would going into the winners bracket, we have that cushion. Maybe we would have had more confidence. Really do hope it doesn't happen to another team, because when you lose a series, you want to know that you lost fairly. You want to know that everything was run smoothly, if that makes sense. You don't want to feel like you got robbed, and I feel like that's how we felt. And I do think maybe it did play a little bit of a part in the rest of the tournament.
Yeah, everything would have been so different for us. We would have been like probably top 8 at least. So yeah, if you think about all the possibilities from this series, it makes the situation very sad.
What do you think 343 can do better in the future, and what do you think Year 2 holds for Halo as a franchise?
I think Halo and 343 should be pretty proud of themselves of the game that they made, because at the core, this game is, you know, it's a fantastic game. You know, just look at the start when it came out. It was very, very popular. Everyone was enjoying it. I think they need to have more communication with players, not just the players, organizations. It's quite sad to see a lot of organizations leaving. I feel like there's a lot more priority towards the higher end organizations, which is not how it should be. What makes a game is every single org that is willing to invest in that person's game. My advice would be to pay more attention to the low organizations, maybe the organizations that don't have as many followers as the likes of, you know, Optic, 100 Thieves, whatever. Pay more attention to those orgs, because at the end of the day, these orgs are putting money into your game. You need to respect them, communicate with them.
I don't accept Halo to be like a real concurrent to the biggest games in the market, but as long as we can get a bit more, like some more players by adding contents, we'll be fine. If we look at the state of the game competitively, we are having a lot of viewers compared to the player base. We are having some really good numbers, so I feel like if we can get just a few more players, the game could be in a really good state.
With Acend, it's been the first big org I've been a part of. I've been a part of a lot of orgs in Halo, but this is one I can truly call home. It's been a great home for me and the boys for the year that we've been with Acend. In terms of their relationship with 343, I'm a bit sort of sad about that. I feel like 343, obviously the partnership, we didn't get the partnership. I'm not saying that Acend deserved the partnership more than any other team, but I feel like when a team like Acend at the time got turned down, the least they sort of owe to them is to, you know, good communication on, for example, how they can get the partnership next year, you know, what they can do to sort of push that. And there was no sort of communication towards them, and I feel like they felt very distant with 343. And you know, when an org invests money into a game, I think the developers, they need to have good communication with them, and I feel like they didn't have that. And you know, at the end of the day, you need to have good communication. And so I hope for next year, you know, fingers crossed 343, but I hope they might watch this and see that. But you know, you can never get your hopes up.